In our last lesson, we talked about italics and before that bold, and now it's time for us to look at underline. So in this video, we are going to not only create underline text, but we're going to learn about what underline was and what it is supposed to mean now. So behind me here, you can see I still have italics.html open. What I'm going to do is create a new file, so just Command N or Control N, and I'm going to create a new paragraph just because life is better inside of a paragraph, and I'm going to save this as underline.html. And now to create some underline text, it's a lot like bold and italic, so if you think B sort of bold and I, italics, let's do I there, nope, that's not right, I. And so underline is very much the same thing. Now the difference between these is that bold had bold and strong, so it also has strong. And italic also has M, short for emphasis. And underline doesn't have anything. Underline is simply underline. Because we have emphasis already selected and strong, which is even a stronger emphasis than just a regular emphasis, there's not a lot more we really need to do with underline. Now in HTML4, underline was actually deprecated, and I'm just gonna open up underline.html here. So underline was initially deprecated, meaning it was about to be kicked out of the HTML standard. And then in HTML5, the world sort of thought, no, let's not get rid of it. Let's just redefine what it means. So originally it was just stylistic. It just adds an underline, and that's, that's okay. So let's do a text test here, text test, and let's add U for underline. Save and refresh. And so we can see here, when I make this way bigger so you can actually see it, we have an underline. Is an underline test. Something like that. We have an underline in here. Now again, originally this was meant to be just sort of stylistic, but because computers have gotten better, CSS has advanced, we now use underlines through CSS almost very strictly. And an underline in HTML is supposed to actually mean something. Now because emphasis and bold have already really been taken up for additional emphasis, or italics and bold rather, we don't have a lot of room to play with here when it comes to written language. So underline is still for visual representation that something is supposed to be stylistically different, but it's also sometimes used for like a misspelled word. If you're maybe writing, I don't know, maybe a website about misspelled words, a dictionary or a thesaurus or something. Or sometimes in particular languages, such as Chinese, where they have proper nouns, you might add an underline to make that proper noun, or to make that noun a proper noun. So because at this point you probably are not familiar with CSS, it's okay to use U, the U tag or the U element, as an underline. But once we move into CSS, you will eventually learn how to add underline using CSS, and that should be the way to move forward. But again, for now, you don't have to worry about being that proper right now. Search engines and Google and other developers are not going to judge you for using this particular tag. It's totally okay to use it. So your task for this particular lesson is to basically just write some text and underline 3 or 4 words. Save that as underline.html, load that up in your browser, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Edge, whichever browser you like best, and make sure that your text is actually underlined. And if you want to take this just one step further, maybe get some extra bonus points, try making some text bold, italic, and underlined all at the same time.